She's white. And because of that, when you consider some of the hard times other people gave her, they were resentful of the fact that this white girl came on the scene where there was a bunch of sisters that preceded her, spanning decades, that were big time, that deserved a lot of credit.
When billionaires step out of the shadows, something big is about to change. And right now, that's exactly what's happening in Indiana. Rumors are swirling that Steve Simon, the quiet billionaire who runs Pacers Sports and Entertainment, has stopped playing the background role. Insiders say he's now personally involved in how the Indiana Fever operate day to day, who plays, who stays, and even who speaks. Fans are calling it the Simon takeover. And the timing couldn't be more suspicious, because ever since whispers started that Simon told his executives, "This is CCT from here on out," the entire Fever organization has looked different. They say when billionaires lose patience, jobs disappear. And if these reports are true, that might already be happening behind closed doors. Let's rewind for a second. Earlier this year, Steve Simon allegedly called a closed-door meeting with head coach Stephanie White and top executives Amber Cox and Kelly Krauskopf.
Back to my main point, like I said, we are in the biggest moment in WNBA history. There's no denying that. Everybody knows that, and everybody that's in a place in power has a true responsibility, and even myself, we have a responsibility to make sure that this game is in a great place going forward with the CBA.
The alleged message? This is Caitlin Clark's team, effective immediately. That phrase, 3 simple letters, CCT, sent shockwaves through the Fever organization. Overnight, the tone shifted. Marketing campaigns suddenly centered around Clark. Practices reportedly refocused on her system, and people inside the building started saying, "The owner has spoken." At first, fans thought it was just social media hype, but as time passed, the changes became visible. Rotations adjusted, media access tightened, and internal decision-making started running through one office, Steve Simon's. And that's when the whispers began, that Simon wasn't done yet. He didn't just want a team built around Clark, he wanted control. Several podcasters have claimed that Simon's next move was quiet but bold, a directive to evaluate all leadership positions. Translation? Clean house. The rumor is that both Amber Cox and Kelly Krauskopf, respected executives who helped rebuild the Fever brand, were suddenly being reviewed for alignment.
Can we be clear about this? If Caitlin Clark were not in the WNBA, we would not be talking about the WNBA. She is the only ticket draw in the WNBA. A large percentage of all tickets sold in the WNBA are so people can watch Caitlin Clark play basketball. No one cares about Angel Reese, should be drawing flies.
Insiders reportedly used the same word again and again, loyalty. An alleged internal memo even mentioned that full alignment with the organization's modern direction was now required. That phrase might sound harmless, but in corporate language, it usually means get on board or get replaced. People who've worked under Steve Simon describe him as calm, polite, and terrifyingly decisive. He doesn't yell, he reorganizes. And according to multiple voices around the league, he's now doing exactly that in Indiana. One insider put it bluntly, Steve wants loyalty, not debate. And the person caught directly in that crossfire was the coach herself. When Stephanie White returned to Indiana, many believe she was the perfect bridge between the old Fever culture and the new. She's smart, disciplined, and beloved by players.
Steph, when watching Caitlin, when she has a little bit of a mini slump for her with three-pointers, are there things you see or even talk to her about it, or you just sort of know she's going to shoot her way out of that?
Well, I think she's going to find her way out of it. Now, we've got to get her easier ones. The ones where she's having to, dribble 5 or 6 times.
But after the CCT meeting, her entire approach was suddenly under scrutiny. For months, White defended her motion offense, a system built on sharing the ball, spreading the floor, and avoiding isolation. But ownership reportedly wanted a different product, one that spotlighted Caitlin Clark's long-range fireworks and one-woman takeovers. And when those philosophies clashed, tension followed. During film sessions, insiders say Clark asked for more control, while White stuck to her playbook. Publicly, everything looked fine. Privately, the walls were closing in. Podcasters started suggesting that White's job might quietly be on the line. One even claimed that Steve Simon already knows who he wants next. For a coach who just brought the Fever back to playoff relevance, that's a harsh reality. But in Simon's world, popularity doesn't matter, profit does. So who could possibly replace Stephanie White if the rumors are true? Some fans have speculated that Simon might turn to someone with direct ties to Iowa basketball, or a young assistant with experience designing systems around superstar guards.
Caitlin obviously kind of participated in team activities here for the first time. Just how is she progressing, and how is this a good step?
Yeah, I mean, it was a good step because she got out there on the floor with us for the first time, part of the, sort of return to activity thing. But it was all very low maintenance, 5-on-0.
Others believe he could bring back a former Fever assistant who already knows the organization but would fully buy into the Caitlin first vision. None of this is confirmed, of course, but the speculation alone has created a cloud over the locker room. Players reportedly feel the tension, not knowing whether their current coach will even finish the next season. What makes this story so fascinating is how methodical it all feels. No official statements, no public firings, no media leaks. Just quiet moves, one after another, until the picture changes completely. And every piece of this puzzle connects to one thing: money. Whenever you're confused in sports, follow the money. It never lies. Since Caitlin Clark arrived, Fever sponsorships have exploded. Hy-Vee, Wilson, and local Indiana corporations have poured record-breaking ad revenue into Pacers entertainment.
So one of the bizarre controversies of the last week is Caitlin Clark, who is the WNBA's only nameable star. Here, for example, is WNBA team owner Sheila Johnson. Here she is, ripping Caitlin Clark and the fan base for liking Caitlin Clark, saying it's only because Caitlin Clark is white.
Why couldn't they have put the whole WNBA on that cover?
Ticket sales tripled, merchandise sold out, and streaming platforms started bidding for Fever games. But here's the twist. Those deals are structured through Pacers Sports and Entertainment, not directly with the WNBA, meaning every dollar earned from Clark's success passes under Steve Simon's corporate umbrella. So when her highlights disappeared and buzz slowed, the financial ripple was immediate. That's why insiders say Simon's sudden involvement wasn't emotional. It was strategic. He's not protecting a player. He's protecting an investment. A billion-dollar ecosystem powered by one 22-year-old phenom with a global fan base. And for someone who built his empire on malls, profits, and partnerships, there's one lesson Simon knows better than anyone. You protect what sells. All this boardroom drama hasn't gone unnoticed by the players. Several Fever fans online have pointed out that body language during interviews feels off.
I mean, people looked at the Cheryl Swoops of the world, the Maya Moores of the world, and others, and they said, yo, there was a bunch of people that came before her that did big things for the WNBA. I respect it. It is right. I appreciate it. But whiteness does have its privileges.
Some veterans appear distant. Others avoid certain questions about team chemistry. And when one reporter asked about the new direction, players laughed nervously before changing the subject. Those moments might seem small, but longtime fans can tell something is shifting. This isn't just about X's and O's, it's about trust. Behind the scenes, sources claim the roster is quietly divided. One group believes in White's structure and accountability. Another believes the offense should fully unleash Clark. Neither side is wrong, but that split can destroy chemistry if it grows. And ironically, it may give Simon the excuse he needs to step in even deeper, all in the name of fixing the culture. Because when locker rooms fracture, ownership tends to rebuild from the top down. And if that means replacing people to stabilize profits, billionaires don't hesitate. At this point, it's hard to ignore the pattern. The same man who rarely appears on camera is suddenly making every decision that shapes the franchise. From media policies to sponsorship rollout, Simon's fingerprint is reportedly everywhere. He's the one approving marketing language. He's the one deciding which executives stay. He's the one shaping how the Fever brand connects with Caitlin Clark's image. This isn't just an intervention anymore, it's a takeover. And what makes it even more chilling is the silence. No denials from Pacers Entertainment, no comment from the front office, no press conferences to set the record straight. Just an eerie calm, like the quiet before a storm. And maybe that's the strategy. Keep the noise down until every piece is in place. By the time fans realize how much has changed, the organization might already be completely rebuilt in Simon's image. So what happens next? If these reports hold any truth, the Fever could be entering their most critical offseason in years. Every major decision, roster, coaching, marketing, now reportedly funnels through Steve Simon's circle.
Caring for our players and, building this league to make sure it's in a great spot for many years to come, because you all know I grew up as a huge fan of this league, and I'm going to do everything I can to make this the league that, a 5-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 15-year-old.
The old hierarchy is fading. A new power structure is forming. Stephanie White's seat, according to insiders, is officially warm. Amber Cox and Kelly Krauskopf are said to be under review. And every future move will be measured by one standard. Does it grow Caitlin Clark's brand? That kind of control can build an empire or burn it down. Because while Clark's global reach is unmatched, no player can carry both the on-court load and the political weight of an entire franchise. The risk here is subtle but real. Too much focus on one superstar can fracture trust across the locker room and make long-term team building impossible. But Simon seems ready to gamble, and the fans, they're left to watch a high-stakes chess game play out, a game where every piece is valuable, but only one truly matters. The Fever of old were built on teamwork. The Fever of now might be built on one word: control. Maybe this was inevitable. When a generational athlete collides with generational wealth, sparks fly, and power shifts. Steve Simon isn't just an owner anymore. He's a strategist guarding the most profitable name in women's basketball. Stephanie White isn't just a coach anymore. She's a test case in how much freedom a WNBA coach really has under billionaire oversight. And Caitlin Clark? She's both the prize and the pressure. Every ticket, every headline, every stat line now carries business weight. The Fever's next win or loss might not just affect playoff standings. It might affect boardroom decisions, sponsorship renewals, even careers. So as Indiana heads into its next season, one question defines everything. Is this still a basketball team, or a billion-dollar brand with a scoreboard attached? Because once money takes over, the game changes forever. And in this new era of the WNBA, one thing is clear. Steve Simon isn't just running the Fever, he's running the story. You know what's crazy? No matter how many boardroom meetings they have, or how many strategic alignments they announce, the fans always see through it. They notice when the energy shifts. They notice when players stop smiling. And they definitely notice when billionaires start running basketball like a business deal. That's what makes this story so wild. Because the people watching at home are part of it now. You guys caught every detail, every awkward press conference, every icy post-game handshake, every cryptic post that just didn't feel right. The Fever might try to keep things quiet, but the internet never stays quiet for long. And if you've been following everything happening with the Fever, Caitlin Clark, and this whole Steve Simon situation, smash that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, I read every one of them, and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next chapter. Because if this story keeps unfolding the way it has been, the next few weeks in Indiana could be the most dramatic we've ever seen.